Ciao, this is Liam, episode 3 of 6. Coherence is 40 of 200 points, and nothing in the capstone rub says forgiveness for almost matching. This episode is the assembly episode. You gather all 6 pieces, you run the coherence audit, and you use the assignment 7 style guide as the yardstick. Nothing out of place. Same family across every touch point. Let's go. The identity system. This came from assignment 7, and it is the yardstick everything else gets measured against. 4 components, all required. First, the logo and its variations, primary lockup, mark only, wordmark, light version, dark version. At least 2 variations are expected in a professional system. Second, the palette with exact hex values, not blue and cream, but the actual hex codes that appear in every other piece. Third, the primary and secondary typefaces by name, not a sans-serif, the actual family names and weights you used. Fourth, a style guide summary, 1 to 2 slides that designer you have never met could pick up and use to stay on brand. If your style guide still says we might use this color rather than this is the color, it is not finished. The identity system is not what you presented in assignment 7, it is the current post-iteration version that reflects every refinement you made in assignments 8 and 9. If the website changed the palette, update the guide. The strategy document. This came from assignments 6 and 5, 4 components that must be present in current. First, the unique value proposition, 1 to 2 sentences that name what you do, who you do it for, and what makes your approach different. If your UVP still sounds like a generic mission statement from a template, it is not finished. Second, 3 to 5 brand pillars. The values or principles that every content and design decision should be traceable back to. Third, at least 2 personas specific enough that you can point to a real piece of content and say this was written for persona 1 because of this specific need. Fourth, competitive positioning, where you sit relative to 2 or 3 alternatives stated specifically, not with a vague claim that you are better. The strategy document is not a slide deck. It is a reference document that the rest of your capstone should be consistent with. If you read your strategy document and then look at your website copy, do they describe the same brand? The path-specific bundle. This depends on which path you chose in assignment 6 and have been building since. Path is the personal brand path. The required bundle, 2 resumes, a traditional format and a modern or visual format, both optimized for your target industry. An optimized LinkedIn profile, headline, about section, and featured section current with your brand positioning. 3 to 5 portfolio samples. Work that demonstrates the skills your brand positions you around. Path B is the startup brand path. The required bundle, a 3-slide pitch deck, problem, solution, and why now or why you. An optimized LinkedIn page for the startup, not your personal profile, the company page. 1 to 2 pages of tool documentation, written for user who has never seen the tool, describing the key features and the methodology. Both paths also require 3 to 5 social posts consistent with the brand voice and visual identity, and 2 brand stories from assignment 9, both complete, both using distinct frameworks, both traceable to the brand values. Coherence audit, 40 points. The audit is not does it look good, the audit is does every touch point use the same family of palette, type, and voice as the assignment 7 style guide. The brandy prompt pattern, paste your style guide values and a description of each touch point into Claude and ask it to flag any inconsistency. Website header type does not match the primary typeface in the guide. Flag, social post uses a color that does not appear in the hex palette. Flag. LinkedIn about section sounds like a different person than the brand stories. Flag. The most common coherence failure is the website drifting during build. You tweak a color to make something look better on screen, and 2 months later that color is different from the one in the guide. The second most common failure is the social posts being written in a different voice than the website copy, too casual, too formal, or using different vocabulary for the same concept. The fix for both is simple. The style guide is the authority. If a touchpoint disagrees with the guide, the touchpoint changes. Verdict for assemble and audit for coherence. The identity system is the yardstick, logo variations, palette with exact hex values, type, family names, and a current style guide. The strategy document anchors everything, of pillars, personas, and competitive positioning, all current with what you actually built. The path-specific bundle depends on your track. Path is resumes, LinkedIn, and portfolio. Path B is pitch deck, LinkedIn page, and tool docs. Both paths need social posts and brand stories consistent with the brand. The coherence audit is 40 points. Use the brandy prompt to flag every touch point against the style guide. The style guide is the authority. If a touch point disagrees, the touch point changes. Episode 4 is the presentation deck. Your turn, run the coherence audit before you build the deck. Paste this prompt into Claude with your own style guide values and touch point descriptions. The prompt reads, I am auditing my info 7375 capstone for brand coherence. I will give you my assignment 7 style guide values and a description of each touch point. For each touch point, flag any inconsistency with the style guide across 3 categories. Palette. Does it use colors outside the hex values I specified? Typography, does it use typefaces not in my primary or secondary family? And voice, does the written content feel like a different person or brand than the others? Here are my style guide values. Primary hex paste, secondary hex values paste up to 4. Primary typeface name and weight. Secondary typeface name and weight. Brand voice and 3 adjectives list. Now here are my touch points. Website header and navigation, describe type, colors used, voice sample. Website body copy, describe, LinkedIn headline and about section, paste or describe, social posts, paste 1 or 2, describe the rest. Brand stories from A9, describe voice and tone. Deck slides, describe if built or not yet. For each touch point, tell me, consistent, minor drift, or major inconsistency, and for any drift or inconsistency, name the exact fix. After you get the audit, make every fix Claude flags as major before you move to episode 4. Assemble an audit for coherence, lay 'em in for bear.